Hi everyone, I am Nafila from the Department of Biotechnology. In this video, I am going to present you about carbohydrates classification and its function. Let's start. Carbohydrates are a group of macromolecules that contain carbon, hydrogen and oxygen which release energy for all the living organisms in the world. Carbohydrates are defined as polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones, which means compounds that contain many hydrogen and oxygen with the aldehyde or ketone as functional group, are the compounds which produce these during hydrolysis. Carbohydrates are also called as saccharides, which means sugar. They are the most abundant organic molecule in nature. The general formula is CnH2ON. The calorific value is 4 kilocalorie per gram. Carbohydrates are classified into four types based on the number of sugar molecules present in the compound. They are monosaccharides, disaccharides, oligosaccharides, and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides contain only one sugar molecule. Disaccharides contain two sugar molecules. Oligosaccharides contain 3 to 10 sugar molecules, and polysaccharides consist of more than 10 sugar molecules. Let us first see about monosaccharides. Monosaccharides are called as simple sugar because they contain only one molecule of sugar. These compounds are soluble in water and sweet to taste. They contain only one aldehyde or ketone group as functional group. These compounds cannot be hydrolyzed further. Banana contains monosaccharides such as glucose and fructose, which makes them sweet. Monosaccharides are divided in two ways based on the number of carbon atom deposits. Monosaccharides are divided into five types. They are triose, which contains 3 carbon, tetrose, which contains 4 carbon, pentose, which contains 5 carbon, hexose, which contains 6 carbon, and heptose, which contains 7 carbon. And based on the type of functional group present, monosaccharides are divided into aldose and ketose. Aldose contain aldehyde as functional group, and ketose contains ketone as functional group. Let us see some of the examples for monosaccharide. An example for aldotriose is glyceraldehyde and ketotriose is dihydroxyacetone. The example for aldotetrose is erythrose and ketotetrose is erythrulose. The examples for aldopentose are ribose and xylose and ketopentose are ribulose and xylulose. The examples for aldohexose are glucose, galactose and mannose and ketohexose is fructose. The example for aldoheptose is glucoheptose and ketoheptose is pseudoheptulose. Now let us move on to disaccharides. Disaccharide contains two sugar molecules. They are restricted in nature, water-soluble and sweet to taste. The two sugar molecules are joined by a special type of bond known as glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bonds are formed by joining of hydroxyl group of one sugar molecule and a hydroxyl group of another sugar molecule with the removal of a water molecule. These bonds are covalent in nature and strong. Mango contains large amount of sucrose which makes it a delicious fruit. On the basis of reducing property, disaccharides are divided into two types, reducing disaccharide and non-reducing disaccharide. In reducing disaccharide, the aldehyde or ketone group present in the sugar molecules are free and not bonded with each other. The examples are maltose. It is also called as malt sugar. It contains two molecules of alpha-D glucose. Another example is lactose. It is also called as milk sugar. It contains beta-D glucose and beta-D galactose. In non-reducing disaccharide, the aldehyde or ketone group present in the sugar molecules are bonded with each other. The example for non-reducing disaccharide is sucrose. It is also called as cane sugar or common table sugar. This is the type of sugar which we add in tea, coffee, etc. It contains alpha-D glucose and beta-D fructose. The next type of carbohydrate is oligosaccharides. Oligo means few. Oligosaccharides contain 3 to 10 sugar molecules which are joined by glycosidic bonds. Oligosaccharides are present in our blood group antigens in the form of glycoproteins. The type of oligosaccharide present on the surface of the red blood cells determine the person's blood group type. Oligosaccharides may be branched in structure or in chain form. Some oligosaccharides are also present in watermelon. On the basis of number of sugar molecules present, oligosaccharides are divided into disaccharide, tetrasaccharide, and pentasaccharide. Disaccharide contains 3 sugar molecules. An example for trisaccharide is raffinose. Raffinose contains 1 molecule of galactose, glucose, and fructose. Tetrasaccharide contains 4 sugar molecules. An example for tetrasaccharide is stachyose. Stachyose contains 2 molecules of galactose and 1 molecule of glucose and fructose. Pentasaccharide contains 5 sugar molecules. An example for pentasaccharide is verbose. Verbose contains 3 molecules of galactose and 1 molecule of glucose and fructose. Let us see the last type of carbohydrate, that is polysaccharide. Polysaccharides are a type of carbohydrate which contains more than 10 sugar molecules. Polysaccharides are also called as glycans or complex carbohydrates. They have high molecular weight as compared to other types of carbohydrates. They are mostly not soluble in water and are not sweet to taste. They do not exhibit any properties of aldehyde or ketone groups. They may be linear, that is, chain form in structure, example is cellulose, or they may be branched, example is glycogen. Polysaccharides are divided into two types. They are homopolysaccharides or homoglycans and heteropolysaccharides or heteroglycans. In homopolysaccharides, the same type of sugar repetitively occurs for more than 10 times. Homopolysaccharides are further divided into two groups. They are glucosan and fructosan. Glucosan contains more than 10 glucose sugar and fructosan contains more than 10 fructose sugar. Let us see some of the examples for glucosan and fructosan. The examples for glucosan are starch. The energy in plant is stored in the form of starch. Glycogen. The energy in animal is stored in the form of glycogen. Cellulose. Cellulose is the constituent of cell wall of plants. Dextrin. Dextrin is produced during the digestion of starch. Dextran. Dextran is synthesized by some species of bacteria. The example for fructosan is inulin. Inulin is made up of repetitive units of beta-D-fructose. The next type of polysaccharide is heteropolysaccharide. In heteropolysaccharide, different type of sugar repetitively occurs for more than 10 times. The example for heteropolysaccharide in animal is glucosaminoglycans, which is also called as mucopolysaccharides. The examples are hyaluronic acid, chondroitin sulfate, dermatan sulfate, and heparan sulfate. The examples for heteropolysaccharide in plants are agar, gum, and pectin. Finally, we are going to see some of the functions of carbohydrates. The primary function of carbohydrate is to provide energy for all the living organisms. Carbohydrates are oxidized to provide energy. The excess energy produced is stored in the form of starch in plants and glycogen in animals. Carbohydrates are also used for synthesis of other biochemical substances like lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Deoxyribose sugar and ribose sugar is important for the formation of DNA and RNA molecules. Carbohydrates joined with lipids in the form of glycolipids are a part of cell membrane. Carbohydrates joined with the proteins in the form of glycoproteins are necessary for the recognition of one cell to another cell and cell and a molecule. Carbohydrates are also used for protein and fat sparing, which means carbohydrates prevent utilizing protein and fat for production of energy and makes protein available for tissue building. This presentation is presented by Nafila. I belong to the Department of Biotechnology, Bonsec College for Women, Tanjavur. Thank you for watching. Keep learning.